ते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Welcome, dear devotees. So, in the last class, so we are on the now almost last section of our third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Till now, we have been discussing on the most important principle of Karma Yoga. What is Karma Yoga and how Krishna is encouraging again and again to Arjun to focus upon his karmas, to focus upon his duty. Do not give up duties abruptly, but do the duty. It is better to do the duties. So we are in that section now. Okay. So before we start for the next section, just quick recap on recollection from the last class. So if you remember whatever, what I don't know, it's long ago, so we generally forget. But let's try to recollect some certain points from the last class, and then we'll start. Okay, any devotee would like to begin and volunteer first?
Prabhuji, you mentioned that we are not only doer of our activities, there are many other factors behind it.
Yeah, so what like there are five factors like adhishtanam adhakarta. So we are not when it is said prakrute kriya manani gune karmani sarvasha, when it is said modes are the doer, then somebody should not misuse this statement that actually mm, like suppose somebody kills someone and he said actually I did not do. My modes did it. Mode should be punished. Why? What is my problem here? No. It is said ki, and when we do something nicely, we should not become proud that oh I could achieve such a big thing. No, we should understand. No, there are many other factors like modes are also the factors, contributors. Thank you. Any other? Ignorant people work with attachment. Don't disturb them much. Okay, that is Krishna is saying. Don't disturb. Let them do. Rather than abruptly asking them to give up their dharma, don't let them do the dharma whatever way. Don't encourage them to give up the work. Okay, but devotees are most merciful. Okay, thank you, Sanket Prabhu. Any other point? Yeah, we discussed about how Krishna consciousness is like a big river and there are small wells which is like a small duties. Sometimes people take up small duties to be the main duties. Desh dharma, Mata Pita dharma, and all this dharma. This all are dharma, the small dharma. But Krishna consciousness is like a big river which accomplishes the tasks of all the wells. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu. Any other? Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma revelation is possible by deliberate intelligence. But but Bhagwan realizations is possible only by causeless mercy. Thank you. Mhm. Devotees know that they are in awkward condition, so he always remains aloof. For this, we have to understand that we are servant of Lord and also we entered this world. Okay. Symptoms of ignorance. Yeah, symptoms of ignorance means he takes credit for all his activity and he's convinced that he is only doer. Thank you, Shashi Pro. Rohan Pro is writing, those who are attached to their work, they should dovetail their work for Krishna with devotions. Yeah, dovetailing. Because we cannot give up work abruptly. Rather, it is encouraged. Dovetail your tendencies. We have been given our propensities. Dovetail your propensities. Okay. Thank you, Rohan Pro. Okay, any other point? You can unmute and speak also, or you can chat also, no problem. Yeah. Past bad habits will never become hurdles in bhakti. Yeah, I mean, will never become means they can become hurdle, but past bad habits are not just impediment in entering bhakti. So yeah, today I think these points will come quite detailed because that is a section which is going to come. Okay, thank you. Okay, only few devotees are only writing. Only I see Akshay Prabhu, Kaushik Prabhu, some few only. No others. We have seen difference between attached and detached worker, and how detached worker should deal with attached worker. Okay, don't. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so this is okay. Both people appear to work in a similar manner. Ignorant person and a Krishna conscious person, and Krishna consciousness person works for the satisfaction of Krishna. Okay. No need to follow the Vedic rituals itself. Rituals, Krishna consciousness itself is sufficient. Okay. Engaging modes in the service of Lord can help us realize beyond us. To have all results derived from the Vedic ritual. Okay, fine. Okay, I think we have good collection of points now. So coming to the next section now. This is going to be very, very vital. Soul initiates the action and modes influence the choice. Okay. So now this is going to be a very, very, very crucial section, especially for sadhakas. Because when we deal with the outside world, and when we take about soul, people don't agree too much about soul. They say, oh, my soul and all this you're speaking. When we even speak something about karma, okay, little bit they may accept. But now the section which is going to come is a very vital section. So in the last class, Prabhu, we read till which verse?
29 probably.
29. So the modes are the doer, till that we read. And now we are going to jump into one section from I think 29, 30, 33 onwards, which is a very, very relatable section for everyone. Because everyone, no matter whether you're a devotee, non-devotee, anyone has this difficulty, especially in this modern age. So, okay, 29, we read 29, right? No? 20, 30 onwards you have to read.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Now, this is a section about how one should work. What is the way to work? Because Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to do karma yoga. So now do karma yoga. So sometimes, as a matter of duty, while executing our duties, there is a great problem which people face is lethargy. So lethargy comes or laziness comes in doing an activity. Now, why does laziness come? Okay, just a quick, just take, let's take a small, quick brainstorm. How many of you feel sometimes laziness affects our choices? Laziness. We feel, although we feel, oh, so what all are the possible reasons that because of which laziness may come in our duties? Okay, Ashish Puri is saying, Tamoguna Prabhuji. Okay, Tamoguna. Yeah, sometimes Tamoguna is also not there, but certain duties we are little want to avoid. Although it may be, we know that it is true, it is right, wrong. What all could be possible reasons that we are too much affected by laziness? Yes, Prabhu. Sai Prabhu is saying less priority. Oh, that is the thing. Extra sleeping. Oh, Vivek Prabhu is saying no, not knowing the importance of an activity. Mind is not ready. Not performing sadhana properly. Okay. This my question is about certain duties, even in the occupational duties I'm writing, not maybe in bhakti only. Even in occupational duty, sometimes there is not having interest at all. Kya boring subject hai. Like some, so we are coming to one section now that, especially in the today's youth, there is a great amount of dissatisfaction. So dissatisfaction in doing job. So many people are telling, ओ मेरा psychophysical nature मैच नहीं करता है मेरे जॉब के साथ, क्या बोरिंग लगता है. Especially when such psychophysical nature doesn't match, or he feels that his धर्मा उसका जो धर्म है उसको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है क्या मेरा धर्म है एग्जैक्टली exactly. मैं क्षत्रिय हूँ, वैश्य हूँ, शूद्र हूँ. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस देर आर सो मेनी confusions that are coming. So person is not able to work with great interest. Person is not able to spend give his 100% and all this. And certain times there are laziness comes. So my all of you are saying that okay, not having interest, being afraid of accepting responsibilities because of moods, all these points are correct. So we find that there is a laziness. So now you see, like sometimes how to find out what kind of occupation is suitable for me, what kind of occupation is suitable for me, what is exactly my dharma. Right now these people say dharma, finding your dharma. Now it is very, very difficult to understand this all concept, finding our true nature and all this and psychophysical nature. Actually, it may take a good amount of time for a person to find out, and it is not necessary for a devotee to find out also. It is not compulsory that everyone should find out only. But generally, when somebody identifies his nature and then he gets a occupation which is suitable to that, or when he gets a task or service which is suitable to his nature, then person works very efficiently and is very happy. Otherwise, the person may work but he will be very miserable. And in Krishna consciousness also, we are supposed to be happy. Not that ki, as a sadhaka stage only, we should struggle, struggle, struggle. Sometimes devotees have this misunderstanding. Devotees have misunderstanding. Okay, if I have a task which is very difficult and which is very impossible for me to do, and when I take such task, then that is called as my surrender. No, no, that is नहीं. Surrender मतलब ऐसा task जिसमें मुझे आनंद ना मिले. कभी एक डिवोटी बोले, प्रभु जी मैं मुझे एक सेवा दिया लेकिन उसमें मुझे बहुत आनंद आता है, ये सेवा करने में मुझे बहुत आनंद आता है, तो क्या ये माया नहीं है क्योंकि मैं खुश हो रहा हूँ? क्योंकि खुशी तो भगवान की खुशी होनी चाहिए ना, अल्टीमेटली भगवान खुश होने चाहिए, मैं खुश हो रहा हूँ मतलब कुछ तो गड़बड़ है। कभी कभी ऐसा एक मिस धारणा बन जाती है कि भगवान को खुश करने के लिए हमें फ्रस्ट्रेट होना पड़ेगा। ऐसा ये गलत है, मतलब भगवान ने इतना मिजरेबल बनाया है क्या भक्ति कि अरे भाई तुम फ्रस्ट्रेट नहीं होंगे तो तुम सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन कर रहे हो? नहीं, अल्टीमेटली कृष्ण कॉन्शियसनेस प्रोसेस इज टू बी हैप्पी एंड वी हैव टू बी बिकम हैप्पी। लेकिन समटाइम्स वी फील अरे मुझे बहुत आनंद आ रहा है मतलब मैं माया में हूँ या तो मैं सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन कर रहा हूँ। नो, नॉट नॉट दैट, दैट इज नॉट द वे। So we have to become happy. So how to understand what is the occupation or what is the work which is suitable? So one thing is, two things are there. One should be internally satisfied and one should be externally competent. Again, I repeat, any occupation where you are internally satisfied and externally competent. Now, when somebody has this two kinds of things, he gets internal satisfaction and external competence. Then we find that person he is able to stably, like internally satisfied. Okay, like suppose somebody is in the field of teaching, so he's externally competent. He knows teaching and he's very happy to teach people. And internally, he feels great satisfaction after performing that activity. Now, sometimes it may come that he may not get sufficient customers, or he may not give to today's, sorry, customer is a wrong word to use, but nowadays that has become business. So, customer or students, he may not get sufficient to students to teach, or he may not get a good amount of Lakshmi, but still he finds a lot of satisfaction and he feels externally competent. Then, person is happy to do that activity. But just imagine an activity where you are not externally competent only. Like suppose some of you are not good in cooking and you are told, Prabhu, now from henceforth you have to cook invoice for 100 people every day. Prabhu, he said, my God, this will be like such a nightmare for him. He'll not be able to sleep only. It's cooking? How can I cook? Chok marunga, kya marunga? I don't know. What outcome will come? So externally competent. We need to be externally competent and internally satisfied. So by this, then one stably goes. Now, despite of all these things, sometimes that we are externally competent, we are internally satisfied. So generally this helps. But despite of this, sometimes laziness affects a sadhaka. Laziness. So now, how one should work in such a stage? Okay. So let's read the verse number 29. Sorry, 30. This is a very famous work. I remember whenever in my college days, this shloka was taken for a study seminar because exactly during PL time, all devotees used to feel in PL time, devotees have a special rasa. You know what? Special rasa? They feel like doing more sadhana. They feel like doing more sadhana. They read more Lilamrit and they do more sadhana. And they somehow want to avoid work. Sometimes they spend too much time with preachers also. एंड हाउ इट अपीयर्स, अरे इतना डिवोटी कैसे, इतना भक्त कैसे आ गया। बेसिकली उसको अपना स्टडीज करना बोर हो रहा है, उसको स्टडीज अवॉइड करना है, तो चल लीलामृत पढ़ता हूँ, साधना करता हूँ। तो समटाइम्स दिस श्लोका वाज टेकन एज अ स्टडी सेमिनार और एनी काइंड ऑफ लेजीनेस व्हिच वी कम। दिस इज वेरी नाइस श्लोका। ओके। मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यासाध्यात्मचेतसा निराशीर्निर्ममो भूत्वा युध्यस्व विगतज्वरा. So now this is the art of doing work. Again, certain there are many shlokas which are like art of doing work, which are repeated again and again to emphasize that what is the way a karma yoga should be done. So Mayi Sarvani Karmani, that sannyasya adhyatma chetasa, nirashir, nirashir matlab not attached, without desire for profit. So one should be nirashir. And nirmamo, whenever you do activity, have a quality of nirmamo. Don't own without ownership, that okay, I did this, I brought so many boys, I could achieve this. No, nirmamo, nirashir. Array, if I do this, what is I am going to get in this activity, what profit I will get. Nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva vigatajvara. Now here what is being talked is this is the art of Krishna conscious work. Or whenever you want to offer your work as a matter of devotion, as a matter of offering to Krishna, then this all things should come. Nirashir, don't too much desire for profit. Then nirmamo, even if you do successfully or not, don't think that you are the doer. And Vigata Jwara, Vigata Jwara means lethargy. Give up your laziness while doing an activity. So when any seva comes to us, we should have these qualities. Srila Prabhupada had that. If you see from Srila Prabhupada's life, it was almost impossible if Srila Prabhupada, like Srila Prabhupada निराश, अरे क्या मिलेगा अमेरिका जाके इतने बुढ़ापे में, कुछ फायदा होगा क्या मेरा। नहीं, निर्ममो, मैंने प्रचार किया। अरे मैंने इतना अमेरिका इंडिया में इतने लोगों को प्रचार किया मैंने, एक भी डिवोटी नहीं बना। तो मैं यूजलेस हूँ, राइट। निर्ममा, बिकॉज वी थिंक वी आर द डूअर्स। एंड लेजीनेस, अरे मैं इतने साल से प्रीचिंग कर रहा हूँ, कोई डिवोटी बन नहीं रहा है, एंड लेट मी बिकम, इट्स आई डोंट गेट इम्पेटस टू वर्क। नो, because when we do, this is the art of doing holy work. Okay, so please read some whose turn is there.
Yes, Prabhu. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your work unto me with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit, with no claim to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight.
So he said, Arjuna, do not give up your dharma of fighting. You are denying to fight. He said, do not own proprietorship. Oh, this all, these are the qualities. So Srila Prabhupada gives a nice purport. Yes, Prabhu.
This verse clearly indicates the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord instructs that one has to become fully Krishna conscious to discharge duties, as if in military discipline. Such an injunction may take things a little difficult. Nevertheless, duties must be carried out with dependence on Krishna, because that is the constitutional position of the living entity. The living entity cannot be independent of the cooperation of the Supreme Lord, because the eternal constitutional position of the living entity is to subordinate to the desire of the Lord. Arjuna was therefore ordered by Sri Krishna to fight as if the Lord were his military commander. One has to sacrifice everything for the good will of the Lord, Supreme Lord, and at the same time discharge prescribed duties without claiming proprietorship. Arjuna did not have to consider the order of the Lord. He had only to execute his order. The Supreme Lord is the soul of all souls. Therefore, one who depends solely and wholly on the Supreme Law, Supreme Soul, without personal consideration, or in other words, one who is fully Krishna conscious, is called Adhyatma Chetas. Nirashama means that one has to act on the order of the master, but should not expect fruitive results. The cashier may count millions of dollars for his employer, but he does not claim a cent for himself. Similarly, one has to realize that nothing in this world belongs to any individual person. but that everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. That is the real pur- pur- purport of the Mai or unto me. And when one acts in such a Krishna conscious, certainly he does not claim proprietorship over anything. This conscious is called nirmama, or nothing is mine. And if there is any reluctance to execute such a stream order, which is without consideration of so called kinsmen in the bodily relationship, that reluctance should be thrown off. And in this way, one may become Vijat Jvara, or without feverish mentality or lethargy. Everyone, according to his quality and position, has a particular type of work to discharge, and all such duties may be discharged in Krishna consciousness, as described above. This will lead one to the path of liberation. You are mute, Prabhuji.
Such a beautiful purport with so many golden points. Sri Prabhupada says that first thing he's telling, to become fully Krishna conscious, one has to discharge duties as if in the military discipline. Military discipline. Okay. Now, anyone has little bit experience of military here? Some of you have been NCC, NDA, and I don't know what all things are there, Scout Guide. Okay, you can just raise your hands. Little bit experience of military is there. You have been part of military or something. Military name, whatever, college days, school days, or something you might have done. What is that called? NCC. NCC, then NSS and Scout Guide. Okay. So now, what is meaning of military discipline? What is military discipline? You can just write in chat box quickly, or you can speak. What is military discipline exactly? Prabhupada is telling here that one should execute Krishna consciousness as if in the military discipline. So because you want to, because some of us may not be aware what is military discipline. Then what all things are there in the military discipline? क्या training होता है military discipline में? Okay, nice. Kaushik Pro is sharing very, very punctual. Okay, so we should be very punctual in coming time for Bhakti Shastri class. Thank you. So that we come before time. Follow the order fully and no discussion thinking on that order. Thank you, thank you. So ऐसा बोला जाता है कि you cannot ask a commander. उसने बोला shoot मतलब shoot. Why shoot? Where shoot? नहीं shoot shoot मतलब shoot. खत्म. You cannot think. Follow the commands. अब जो बोला वो करो. In our ashram also sometimes when we PDC training होता है ना या वॉइस ट्रेनिंग में भी हम बोलते हैं जो बोला सो करो. बाद में फिर अपने डिवोटीज ने नया एडिशन किया, जो बोला सो करो, जैसा बोला वैसा करो, जितना बोला उतना ही करो. मतलब ज्यादा दिमाग मत लगाओ. राइट ना? समटाइम्स जो बोला सो करो, जैसा बोला वैसा करो, जितना बोला उतना करो. इसको बोलते हैं मिलिट्री डिसिप्लिन. ओके. Alkesh Prabhu is saying, order must be carried out. We cannot say. So can you imagine somebody now he says today, suppose you go in childhood, like today mother says, I don't feel like cooking today. Oh, I don't like going to school today. Like in childhood also, so many times we felt like that. I don't feel like going to college today. Oh, now also devotees feel, प्रभु आज कंपनी जाने का इच्छा नहीं कर रहा है. क्या करते हो आप? कितनी बार ऐसा होता है डिवोटीज को कि कंपनी जाने का मन ही नहीं करता है, ऐसा करता है आज छोड़ दूं क्या, आज वर्क फ्रॉम होम ले लूं क्या. लेकिन कोटा नहीं मिलता, वर्क फ्रॉम होम भी नहीं ले सकते, कुछ नहीं ले सकते. स्टिल वी गिव अप दैट लेथार्जी. चाहे या ना चाहे हम जाते हैं. सो वी लर्न टू गिव अप दैट लेथार्जी. So here it is said one has to act as if in the military discipline. A devotee should act as if in the military discipline. So we have to discipline our lives. Discipline our lives means like suppose today I get up in the morning and it feels, oh, I think I should not get up today. I'm feeling too tired. प्रभु जी ठंडा है वातावरण. एंड कल मैं थोड़ा लेट भी सोया था, 10 बजे सोया था, 9:30 बजे नहीं सो पाया. और थोड़ा सा आज दिन भर बहुत सेवा भी करना है. लेकिन मिलिट्री डिसिप्लिन मतलब क्या? ए चुप. मन तो बोलेगा. मिलिट्री डिसिप्लिन मतलब नहीं नहीं उठूंगा तो मेरा माला जाएगा और फिर से दिन बर्बाद होगा. सो इफ आई डोंट चैंट टुडे then entire my days will go around. So this is military discipline means rising above our likes and sometimes हमारा मन की बात है. So that is military discipline. So similarly, to become Krishna conscious, one should discharge duties as if in the military discipline. Now Prabhupada is acknowledging, ऐसा मत सोचो कि ये बहुत आसान है करके, थोड़ा मुश्किल है, मन को मन परेशान होता है. नहीं, लेकिन अगर हम कृष्ण को प्रसन्न करना है, थोड़ा करना पड़ेगा। अभी कैसे? क्योंकि ये कैसे कर सकता है व्यक्ति? तब जब वो जान ले कि अगर मैं भगवान को प्रसन्न नहीं करूंगा तो मैं कभी हैप्पी नहीं हो पाऊंगा। मेरा जीवन का एक में उद्देश्य वही है कि भगवान को प्रसन्न करना, बाकी जीवन में मैं कुछ भी कर लूँ देन इट इज नॉट सफिशिएंट। यहाँ पे प्रोपा ने लिखा, एज अ मिलिट्री में किसी व्यक्ति को कमांडर ने क्या बोला क्या नहीं उसको विचार नहीं करना होता है, वैसे ही हमें शास्त्र के बारे में ज्यादा विचार नहीं करना चाहिए कि मतलब करूँ कि नहीं करूँ, नहीं जो बोला है कर देना है, खत्म। And certain things are mentioned, निराशी, and one should not expect fruitive results कि क्या मुझे मिलेगा क्या नहीं मिलेगा। So by this consciousness, if one works, then one leads his life to the path of mukti, or the path of like going back home, back to Godhead. And Vigata Jwara. Jwara means fever. So generally, whenever there is a fever in the body, a person becomes little lazy. There is a lethargy, fatigue, and all. So he said Vigata Jwara, without fearish mentality. तो fever को compare किया गया laziness. तो कभी कभी ये laziness is compared with fever और feverish mentality. तो ये उसको lethargy बोलते हैं। तो ये fever के समान है। तो इस fever से बाहर निकलो, fever को निकालना चाहिए। तो जैसे ही fever आता है तुरंत निकाल देना चाहिए। Like that it is said. Okay, next, coming to the next verse. ये मे मतम इदम नित्यम अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवा श्रद्धावन्तो अनुष्यन्तो मुच्यन्ते पि कर्म भी। Okay, read please.
Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from the bondage of fruitive actions.
So now there is a one again discussion about how if you engage in karma yoga properly, then you will become freedom from liberation. You will get freedom, liberation. So that is ultimate goal, like getting freedom from all karmic reactions and all. So he's repeating, if you work in this manner, you will get mukti. Yes, bro.
Perfect. The injection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the essence of all Vedic wisdom and therefore is eternally true without exception. As the Vedas are eternal, so this truth of Krishna consciousness is also eternal. One should have firm faith in this injection without envying the Lord. There are many philosophers who write comments on the Bhagavad Gita but have no faith in Krishna. They will never be liberated from the bondage of fruitive action. But an ordinary man with a firm faith in an eternal injection of the Lord, even though unable to execute such orders, becomes liberated from the bondage of the law of karma. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not fully discharge the injection of the Lord, but because one is not resentful of this principle and works sincerely without consideration of the defeat and hopelessness, he will he will surely be promoted to this stage of pure Krishna consciousness.
Here it is telling. So Lord is speaking to encourage people to take up his teaching. That those people who follow Lord's teaching, which is the secret of Vedas. So he said, what will be the result for such people? Those who follow teachings. So he's telling only those people who follow my teaching and with firm faith, Shraddhanvata, and without having the feeling that it is a fault for one to like. So he said such a person becomes qualified for liberation. So he said, please take my teachings very seriously. Krishna himself is telling, don't think that I am teaching something wrong. If you please follow my teaching, what guidance I am giving you, then you will succeed in all your endeavors. So take my teaching very seriously, Krishna is telling. Hmm? And now he is saying another meaning is also given, that those who follow my teachings and even those who cannot follow but have faith, like suppose we are not able to follow Krishna's teachings very properly, but we are not we have faith, oh Krishna's teachings are proper one, and we do not say oh kuch kaam nahi karta, Krishna consciousness does not kaam karta, they can also become freedom from bondage. See कितना कितना merciful है भगवान, कि चलो भाई आप अगर इस लेवल पे काम नहीं कर पा रहे हो लेकिन आपको रिस्पेक्ट है, जैसे कि आप चैंटिंग नहीं कर पा रहे हो अच्छे से, लेकिन आपको लगता है कि नहीं मुझे चैंटिंग अच्छे से करना है और एक दिन मैं करूंगा और चैंटिंग काम करेगा, तो he said such a person also becomes qualified for freedom from bondage. So have a respect for Krishna's teachings mainly. Respect Krishna's teachings. That is 31st verse. 32nd. ये तु एतद् अभ्यासुयन्तो नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतम् सर्वज्ञानं विमूढांस्तान् विधि नष्टा न चेतसा.
But those who, out of envy, disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection.
Yeah, so I gave you teachings about Karma Yoga. So if you follow it properly, you will get mukti. But if you do not follow because of envy, and then you will be ruined in all your endeavors for perfection. He's telling you will lose everything. So Arjuna, Krishna is openly telling now. You follow my teachings. Have a regards for my teachings. I have been speaking so much, so he said have regard for my teachings. If you follow it, you will gain a lot. If you again otherwise, so he's telling. Yes, bro.
Purport: the flaw of not being Krishna consciousness is clearly stated. As there is punishment for disobedience to the order of the supreme executive head, so there is certainly punishment for disobedience to the order of the supreme personality of Godhead. A disobedient person, however great he may be, in ignorant of his own self and of the supreme Brahman, Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead, due to vacant heart. Therefore, there is no hope of perfection of life for
Yeah. So that's why it is said for a disciple, three qualities are there which are very vital. One is we know na DOS formula: discipline, obedience, and
Sincerity.
self-control. Discipline, obedience, and self-control. So discipline is very important, as they said, military discipline. Second is obedience is very important. That is regard have a teachings and follow it, and then self-control. Whether you feel lethargy, no lethargy, so we should act. So discipline, obedience, self-control. So he said if we do not, if you are disobedient to the instructions of anyone, then we'll ruin ourselves. So Krishna is appealing now that follow my teachings. Hmm? So okay, now we are coming to the now very beautiful section. As I said, सदृशं चेष्टते स्वास्य प्रकृतेर्ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रह किं करिष्यति. Now, this is a very vital shloka of Bhagavad Gita in one sense. Why? Because this is one of the most misunderstood shloka of Bhagavad Gita also. Some people now this shloka as a devotee, sometimes devotees also misunderstand, and there is one entire organization which says that this is the most important shloka of Gita, and they apply the meaning of the shloka into totally opposite manner. Like you know that there are certain organizations, right? Now, like suppose now say LIC. LIC writes yoga karmashu kaushalam. Okay, bona fide. There is nothing wrong there. They're just taking the Sanskrit shloka from there, and they are anyway not spiritual organization. But there is a spiritual organization which focuses on one line of this shloka and tells, see Bhagavad Gita का most important shloka है. What? निग्रह किम करिष्यति. आर्टिफिशियली रिप्रेशन लाके कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. तो कृष्ण तो बात सही है कि ऐसा सही है कि सप्रेस करके अपने डिजायर्स को सप्रेस करके कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. तो कृष्ण बात तो सही है, सप्रेस करके कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. तो क्या करना है अब, इसका कंक्लूजन क्या है फिर? तो बोले एंगेज करो अपने जो भी मन में इच्छा आती है, सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन में जोड़ो, पूरी तरह सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन करो, क्योंकि सप्रेशन काम नहीं करता है. तो ऐसे एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है हमारे पुणे में ही है, वो सबसे बड़ा उसका हेडक्वार्टर. उनका फिलोसफी ही वो है, क्या कहते हैं कि सप्रेस मत किया करो, संभोग से समाधि. ओके, कौशिक प्रभु सेलिंग. अच्छा है. सो वी फाइंड अभी ये श्लोका जो है बहुत मिसअंडरस्टूड श्लोक है, और डिवोटीज भी कभी कभी इस श्लोकों को गलत धारणा लगाते हैं. प्रभु देखो मैं ना, मेरा बाय डिफॉल्ट नेचर लस्ट है, मेरा बाय डिफॉल्ट नेचर एंगर ग्रीड है, और कृष्ण बोल रहे हैं प्रभु जी श्लोक में निग्रह किम करिष्यति. अगर आप अपने डिजायर्स को सप्रेस करोगे या रिप्रेस करोगे तो काम नहीं होने वाला है. तो बेटर एंगेज करो, मतलब करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो सप्रेस करोगे तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. लेकिन ये श्लोक जो है थोड़ा मिसअंडरस्टूड श्लोक है. इस श्लोक का मतलब क्या है? वो थोड़ा जानना पड़ेगा हमें। ओके, फिर से एक बार श्लोक पढ़ता हूँ, देन somebody can read translation. सदृशं चेष्टते स्वास्य प्रकृतेर्ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रह किं करिष्यति. Translation.
Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish?
हम्म so ऐसे सब कुछ नॉलेज देने के बाद भी क्या होता है, इतना भी आप ज्ञान ज्ञान दो किसी व्यक्ति को, लेकिन वो अपने नेचर के अनुसार ही काम करता है, और अगर आप उसको दबा के रखोगे तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. सो इसे डिप्रेशन कैनॉट अकम्प्लिश एनीथिंग. सो नाउ यहाँ पे फिर से एक वर्ड यूज किया गया है, प्रकृतिम. यहाँ पे एक वर्ड आएगा प्रकृतिम, नेचर. अपने नेचर के खिलाफ काम करोगे तो प्रॉब्लम होगा, यहाँ बोला है. तो नेचर के साथ काम करो. तो यहाँ पे ये नेचर का मतलब इस नेचर के बारे में नहीं बताया गया है. क्या कहते हैं कि जो उसके जो कंडीशनिंग्स है, प्रकृति में कॉल्ड एज नेचर, नॉट द कंडीशनिंग्स. हाँ, यहाँ पे उसका नेचर के बारे में बात की गई है. तो यहाँ पे उसकी बात नहीं की जा रही कि लस्ट, रोज ही मेरा बाय डिफॉल्ट नेचर है ना वो लस्ट है, तो मैं अगर लस्ट को सप्रेस करूंगा तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा, तो लेट मी एक्ट इन द लस्ट. यहाँ पे उसकी बात, ये उस प्रकृति की बात नहीं की जा रही है. यहाँ प्रकृति मतलब बिकॉज वो सोल जो है, सोल को तो कोई वैसा नेचर नहीं है, सोल का नेचर सच्चिदानंद है. लेकिन सोल जब कंडीशन बॉडी के साथ में टच में आता है तो उसने अपने कुछ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स प्राप्त किए हैं, साइकोफिजिकल नेचर प्राप्त किया है, और उसके अनुसार उसके कुछ ऑक्यूपेशंस जो है उसके लिए सुटेबल है. तो यहाँ पे वो बताया जा रहा है कि उसने ऐसे ऑक्यूपेशन में जुड़ना चाहिए जो उसके नेचर के साथ मैच करता है. ज़्यादा अगर सप्रेस करेगा अपने ऑक्यूपेशन को, तो जैसे कोई क्षत्रिय है लेकिन उसने उसको भी बोल दिया गया, अरे भाई तू ब्राह्मण की तरह काम कर काम कर काम कर, एक दिन ऐसा भड़क जाएगा, वो निकल जाएगा उसके अंदर से बाहर, उसका सारा क्षत्रियपन. तो यहाँ पे बताया गया है कि अपने नेचर को तुम ऐसे दबा नहीं सकते हो, क्योंकि आपको मिला है वो इतने लाइफ टाइम्स का. यहाँ पे उसकी बात नहीं की जा रही है. अभी आप सोचो, सब लोग लस्ट के शिकार है, तो यहाँ पे ब्राह्मण भी लस्ट का शिकार होता है, क्षत्रिय भी लस्ट का शिकार होता है, सबका अलग अलग तरीके का लस्ट है. तो ऐसा नहीं कि उसको 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 भी सप्रेस नहीं करना है, सप्रेस मतलब उसको कंट्रोल करना ही है, उसको ऑप्शन ही नहीं है. यहाँ पे अनर्थों की बात नहीं की जा रही है. एक ड्यूटी बोला प्रभु देखो मेरा नेचर है, तो मैं क्या, मैं ब्राह्मण ब्रह्मचारी सन्यास तो बन ही नहीं पाऊंगा. नहीं, ये उस नेचर की बात नहीं की जा रही है. यहाँ पे नेचर इसकी बात की जा रही है कि अपना जो अंदर का वर्क करने का जो टेंडेंसी है उसको आप सडनली मत दबाइए. ही सेड एक्ट एक्ट, डोंट टेल इट. और ये तो सबको ही कंट्रोल करना पड़ता है, चाहे आप सन्यासी हो ब्रह्मचारी हो कोई भी हो, ब्राह्मण. लस्ट एंगर ग्रीड प्राइड एनवी सबको इक्वली अफेक्ट करता है ये. ऐसा नहीं कि कोई बोलेगा कि मैं क्या करूँ प्रभु जी, मैं लस्टी हूँ तो मुझे बेसिकली मैं चार नियम पालन कर ही नहीं पाऊंगा. ऐसा नहीं है, वो तो करना ही है, उसके लिए एंडेवर करना ही है. और ये सारी चीजों को अगर कोई इंटेलिजेंस और वैराग्य से कंट्रोल कर सकता है, सारे कंडीशनिंग्स जो है स्पेशली हमारे जो चार नियम के रिलेटेड, थोड़ा डेलिबरेट इंटेलिजेंस लगाए, उसका इंटेलिजेंस मजबूत करे, तो वो कर सकता है उसको. यहाँ पे लेकिन जो जिसकी बात की जा रही है वो है प्रकृति में. ओके, परपट.
Unless one is situated on the transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness, he cannot get free from the influence of modes of material nature, as it is confirmed by Lord in the 7th chapter, 7.14. Therefore, even for the most highly educated person on mundane plane, it is impossible to get out of the entanglement of Maya simply by theoretical knowledge or by separating the soul from the body. There are many so-called spiritualists who outwardly pose as advanced in the science, but inwardly or privately are completely under particular modes of nature, which they are unable to surpass. Academically, one may be very learned, but because of his long association with material nature, he is in bondage. Krishna consciousness helps one to get out of the material entanglement, even though one may be engaged in his prescribed duties. in terms of material existence. Therefore, without being fully in Krishna consciousness, one should not give up his occupational duties. No one should suddenly give up his prescribed duties and become a so-called yogi or transcendentalist artificially. It is better to be situated in one's position to to try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Thus, one may be freed from the clutches of Krishna's Maya. Through your mute, I guess.
Don't suddenly give up. That's why we don't encourage our students. Like sometimes in engineering, a boy comes and in second year only tells, Prabhuji, I want to join Brahmachari ashram. Is it okay? Why to go for this all Maya, Prabhuji? This all going to IT jobs and working in the companies and all this. And he feels, why do I want to join Brahmachari ashram? Let me. No, no, no. Don't give up your duties suddenly. First, do your prescribed duties, purify, because purify your heart, and then take this decision maturely. Otherwise, just only out of frustration, sometimes a person may give up. So he said, no, this is not encouraged. That's why we generally encourage 1 year, 2 year, you work, observe yourself, and then. So there are many. Prabhupada is writing very khatarnak statement. Huh? There are many spiritualists जो बाहर से दिखाते हैं कि अरे भाई बहुत एडवांस्ड है हम लोग एकदम, लेकिन इनवर्डली और प्राइवेटली, इनवर्डली मतलब अंदर से उसका कुछ अलग चल रहा है, प्राइवेटली मतलब वो थोड़ा सा प्राइवेट जब स्पेस मिले उसको, वो किसी पर्टिकुलर मोड ऑफ नेचर से अफेक्टेड है जो वो सरपास नहीं कर पा रहा है। तो इसका मतलब कितना खतरनाक है ये सब चीज़ें, जो अंदर का जो हमारा नेचर है वो हम तुरंत चेंज नहीं कर पाते। इसने यहाँ पे बोला गया है बार बार कि अपने प्रकृति जो नेचर है उसके अनुसार अपना कार्य कीजिए। नेचर के अनुसार काम कीजिए जो आपका ऑक्यूपेशन अभी। लेकिन कोई डिवोटी बोलेगा, प्रभु मेरा नेचर क्या है, मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है। कभी लगता है क्षत्रिय हूँ, कभी लगता है, लेकिन कॉकरोच से भी डर लगता है। कभी कभी लगता है ब्राह्मण हूँ, लेकिन इनसे मॉर्निंग में उठने में दिक्कत होती है। कभी कभी लगता है शूद्र हूँ लेकिन नहीं, तो बहुत कंफ्यूजन होता है मैं हूँ क्या, क्योंकि सब हाइब्रिड है ना, इस बार सब कुछ हाइब्रिड बनना है। सो देयर इज बाय डिफॉल्ट एवरीवन इज शूद्र, एवरीवन इज हाइब्रिड। सो दे व्हाट इज द नेचर? So I said this nature one comes to know by doing Krishna consciousness over a period of time. Over naturally, I said two things. You are externally competent and internally satisfied. Such activities you can find that okay, these are sort of my little bit nature, that I like such things. Where so don't repress. Don't repress. That is what he's telling now. Okay, just one more we'll read, and then any questions are there, then we'll take that one. Okay, just a minute. Huh? Okay, can someone please read 33rd? This is nice. Vishwanath Chakri Thakur's, this is there. Please read.
Would they not be afraid of not following your instruction, the instruction of the Supreme Lord, or the instruction of a king? No, they are not afraid. Those who engage their senses for enjoyment, even if they are intelligent, cannot consider the order of the king, the Supreme Lord. This is because of their nature. The Lord explains this in this verse. If the person of knowledge engages in sin, he will receive hellish punishment, just as a king punishes, and he will also bear infamy. Still, even the person of discrimination performs actions which yield a burden of suffering, following his previous sinful habits. Therefore, all follow after their natures. The instruction of scripture, nigraha, made by me or the king in the form of Nishkam Karma Yoga are able to purify and enlighten the impure hearted, and in the form of Gyan Yoga are able to purify and enlighten the pure hearted, but neither can purify the extremely impure Nigraha Kim Karishyati. However, Bhakti Yoga arising from my unpredictable mercy can deliver even those most sinful persons, as the Skanda Purana says. Aho dhyanoshi devars कृपया यस्य ते क्षणात् नीच अप्य उत्पुलको लेभे लब्धको रतिम उच्यते. My dear friend Narada Muni, you are glorified as the sage among the demigods. By your mercy, even a low-born person like this hunter immediately become ecstatic. This is called bhava or rati.
Yeah. So basically, Bhakti Yoga helps us. Like Srila Prabhupada into that's why Srila Prabhupada gave full focus on Bhakti Yoga. That okay, you may not know your nature, this may take hundreds of life, I don't know how many years it will take. Engage in Bhakti Yoga. By engaging in Bhakti Yoga, you transcend the modes of nature and you don't have to worry. So he said, by transcend the modes of nature by engaging in Bhakti Yoga and become a Vaishnava. And still you may have certain your dharma and all, engage them in Krishna's service. So that is what he's writing here. So don't repress, dovetail. Hmm. Okay. So now comes the now what is okay, I'll just show something. Okay. Now, if you see, we have been discussing on the subject matter of Karma Yoga because we are now going to jump into another section now. So, Karma Yoga, we are trying to discuss about this. Krishna is telling again and again, do your duties very properly. Now, what are the certain qualities which are very important in Karma Yoga? That is Nirmama, Nirashir, and all those things. So, basically, among Karma Yoga, the most important word is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga is a very vital thing that engage in as per Nishkam. Kama means no desires for self profit and sense gratification. Now, Arjuna is going to ask this one thing that how to do Nishkam. Nishkam means what? He's telling that there are certain problems which come in the life of sadhaka. What are the problems? He says that this what is that atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha, that oh Krishna, what is that? I see there is some invisible force in my body, invisible force in my body, which forces me to act even without my desire. That it appeals me that you work. Oh, I don't want to do actually wrong thing, but there is a force in my body which appears that even without my desire, it takes away my intelligence. Anichan, it is said anichan, that I don't want to do. Like a drunkard is there. The drunkard, he doesn't want to drink. He has understood now sufficiently. But there is something which forces him to act without even his desire. And what is that? So he said, Krishna is telling, going to speak now, that it is lust only. It is kama. So now you may say, "Arey, but that only I want to become nishkama." But he's saying, no, there is kama. There is this tendency of kama is a number one enemy of every soul. Number one enemy of every conditioned soul. Hmm. So now, outside people also, they may not sometimes able to, they may not understand all this bhakti and all. But this, everyone is able to understand. Yeah, true. This is true. If सब लोग पीट चुके हैं इसकी वजह से lust and the desires to act even without their willing, feeling, so sometimes for a devotee, okay, we may not seek okay, we may not do something drinking, smoking, and all those things. But for devotee also, there are certain tendencies which we suffer, that small tendencies that we are forced. It appears that we are forced, but actually nobody can force us. We cannot be forced. Why? Because like somebody is a drunkard also. It is not that the bottle has some hand and that bottle catches your neck and it forces you to drink. No, ultimately it appeals and our intelligence surrenders to that appeal. Our intelligence, it is a we only, it is our ichha only. It is our ichha only to act in a wrong activity. It is not that key that activity is forcing us. So, but our intelligence gets convinced. The intelligence becomes weak. So he said, what is that? So now this section is going to come. is 30 that is about 36th verse onward, that about that I think 37 onwards this will come, that how to work upon this. And in 34 and 35th verse, Krishna will speak about before that, okay, you work, all of you have some vasanas which you have accumulated from your lifetime, but there is a way to deal with those vasanas. What are those ways to deal with vasanas? So in 34th shloka, he will speak. Hmm? 34th. इन्द्रियासेन्द्रियासर्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तयोर्नावसमागच्छे तौ हि अस्य परिपन्थिनौ.
There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self realization.
Yeah, so he said attachment and repulsion for sense objects. So he said one don't come under attachment and repulsion. And how? By following the principles to regulate attachment. So there are principles like simple. Somebody has too much. He's a mad and crazy that he feels, okay, I cannot live without sense gratification only. Then there are certain principles like suppose somebody is too much mad after now, say he cannot live only. He will do something wrong. Okay, get married and engage as per the principles of dharma and live a nice life. So there are principles to regulate attachment. So he said, but one should not come under the control of such attachment. That okay, after now getting married, also suppose he feels okay, I have a license now. I can do anything wrong. No, don't come under the control of such attachments. He said, regulate the attachment, regulate the activity. So first step in giving up any kinds of attachments and aversions is regulating it. Don't do undiscriminately anytime. Regulate it. So this is so he is telling don't come under the this. Okay, I think this will read for last today, and then we'll have any questions in case if they are there. 34th, yes, bro.
Those who are in Krishna conscious are naturally reluctant to engage in material sense gratification, but those who are not in such consciousness should follow the rules and regulations of the revealed scripture. Unrestricted sense enjoyment is the cause of material entanglement, but one who follow the rules and regulations of the revealed scripture does not become entangled by the sense objects. For example, sense enjoyment is a necessity to the conditioned soul, and sense enjoyment is allowed under the license of marriage ties. According to scriptural injunctions, one is forbidden to engage in sex relationship with any woman other than one's wife. All other women are to be considered as one's mother, but in spite of such injunction, a man is still inclined to have sex relationship with other women. These propensities are to be curbed. Otherwise they will be stumbling block on the path of self realization. As long as the material body is there, the necessities of the material bodies are allowed, but under rules and regulations. And yet, we should not rely upon the control of such allowances. One has to follow these rules and regulations unattached to them because practice of sense gratification under regulation may also lead one to go astray. As much as there is always the chance of an accident, even on the royal roads, although they may be very carefully maintained, no one can guarantee that there will be no danger even on the safest road. The sense enjoyment spirit has been current a very long time, owing to material association. Therefore, In spite of regulated sense enjoyment, there is every chance of falling down. Therefore, any attachment of regulated sense enjoyment must also be avoided by all means. But attachment to Krishna consciousness or acting always in the loving service of Krishna detached detaches one from all kind of sensory activities. Therefore, no one should try to detach from Krishna consciousness at any stage of life. The whole purpose of detachment of all kinds of sense enjoyment is ultimately to become situated on the platform of Krishna consciousness.
This is one of my favorite purports. You know, many times devotees tell no, that Prabhu, my major stumbling block in my life is attachment. I have so many material attachments. But actually, if you see, Krishna is saying it is not only attachment. Attachment is not stumbling block. More than attachment is a detachment. Somebody may say, Prabhu, detachment? Yes, detachment from Krishna is the big stumbling block, not attachment. Attachments to other external sense gratification objects as there because you're detached from Krishna. He said, you're detached from Krishna. This is the major problem, not attachment to Krishna. Like that's why devotee sometimes, Prabhu, इतना darkness क्यों है? इतना darkness क्यों है? रूम में इतना अंधेरा क्यों है? डार्क रूम डार्क है डार्क, अरे तुम लाइट पे फोकस करो, लाइट कैसे लाना है? अंधेरा चला जाएगा, वो अंधेरा निकलेगा कैसे? अंधेरा कैसे निकलेगा? अरे अंधेरा कैसे निकलेगा अपने आप लाइट को लाओ, अंधेरा निकल जाएगा। तो बार बार कृष्ण यही बता रहे हैं। रूपात किसके लिए बार बार बोलते हैं कि आप कृष्ण कॉन्शियसनेस को स्वीकार कीजिए, सारा जो आपका अटैचमेंट डिटैचमेंट है सब निकल जाएगा। एंड सर्टन थिंग ये एंड सर्टन इन दिस पर पोटेटो सेट, कभी कभी जैसे गवर्नमेंट जो है, किसको पता है गवर्नमेंट लिकर शॉप क्यों खोलता है? देशी दारू दुकान होता है, क्या रीजन होता है लिकर शॉप क्यों खोलता है गवर्नमेंट? ओह टैक्स के लिए, मैं भी ओके ओके, आज का मॉडर्न गवर्नमेंट टैक्स के लिए करता होगा। इन जनरल क्यों खोलना होता है गवर्नमेंट को?
तो
तो अगर
जिसको
अलाउड
पीना
नहीं
है वो
करेंगे
पी
तो
सकता है। अगर उन्होंने गवर्नमेंट में बैन लगा दिया ना, तो अपना मैन्युफैक्चर करके पिएंगे और मर जाएंगे मीन्स।
हम्म। तो
ब्लैक ब्लैक
मैंने बाद में पता किया, वो देशी दारू दुकान में ऐसा नहीं कि सबको दारू मिलता है, पता है क्या आपको? अभी तो मिलता होगा, मतलब सब करप्शन चलता है, लेकिन देशी दारू में एक राशन कार्ड का, आपका राशन कार्ड होता है ना, राशन कार्ड, अरे तूने लास्ट कब लिया था? अभी इतना जल्दी नहीं मिलेगा, अगले हफ्ते आना, अगले महीने आना। तो सी एक एक ऐसा साथ उसका भी साधना कोटा होता है, साधना स्कोर्स की तमन देखता है, कितना कितना किया तुमने, कम पिया ज्यादा पिया। नहीं नहीं बेटा, एक काम करा, अगले महीने आना, अभी मत पीना, ये उसका पर्पस था। लेकिन आजकल लोग करप्शन करके सब पी लेते हैं। तो पर्पस है उसको रेगुलेट करने के लिए बनाया गया है। लेकिन व्यक्ति क्या होता है, उस रेगुलेशन को ही स्वीकार कर लेता है, चलो भाई रेगुलेट करूंगा रेगुलेट करूंगा, रेगुलेटेड वे में सेल्फ ग्रेटिफिकेशन करूंगा। तो प्रभुपाद कह रहे हैं ऐसा मत सोचो, ज्यादा रेगुलेशन पे भी जाओगे सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन के केस में फंसोगे। ऐसा मत सोचो कि केवल रेगुलेट करके भी हो जाएगा, ये फर्स्ट स्टेप है। फर्स्ट स्टेप है रेगुलेट करो, बहुत पी रहे हो तो थोड़ा कम करो, बहुत सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन कर रहे हो थोड़ा कम करो। लेकिन ऐसा मत सोचो कि केवल रेगुलेशन के साथ जीवन जीते रहूंगा, सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन के रेगुलेशन के साथ तो हो जाएगा, नहीं। ये भी बहुत बड़ा रिस्क है। ऊपर लिख रहे हैं कि इवन रॉयल रोड पे भी मतलब ये एक्सीडेंट्स होते हैं ऐसा। तो ये प्रोपेंसिटीज को कर भी करना है। अभी एक प्रोपाल यहाँ पे बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेटमेंट लिखे हैं, ये भी कभी कभी मिसअंडरस्टैंड हो जाता है ना? सेक्स एंजॉयमेंट इज अ नेसेसिटी फॉर द कंडीशन सोल, प्रोपाल लिख रहे हैं। अभी कोई व्यक्ति बोलेगा प्रभु कैसे ऐसा पॉसिबल है, ये तो गलत चीज हो गई। यहाँ पे प्रभुपाद लिख रहे हैं सेक्स एंजॉयमेंट इज अ नेसेसिटी, ये देखिए नेसेसिटी। तो वो फिर बोले अरे फिर ऐसा अगर नेसेसिटी है तो प्रभु फिर आप कैसे, कोई ब्रह्मचारी बनेगा, कोई संन्यास लेगा, कोई वानप्रस्थ लेगा, चारों आश्रम में आप मना करते हो, और यहाँ पे लिखा है कि एंजॉयमेंट नेसेसिटी है। तो ये उस प्रकार की नेसेसिटी नहीं है जैसे खाना का नेसेसिटी है, ईटिंग, अगर ईटिंग नहीं करोगे तो मर जाओगे बाद में, अगर क्या कहते हैं, सोओगे ही नहीं रात को तो पक्का बॉडी मर जाएगा। तो ये उस टाइप का नेसेसिटी नहीं है, बट इन जनरल अधिकतर लोगों के लिए ये एक नेसेसिटी है। तो ये नेसेसिटी बन जाती है, उसके बिना दे कैनॉट फंक्शन ओनली, दे कैनॉट फंक्शन ओनली। सो इट बिकम्स दैट्स व्हाई इट इज जनरली बिकॉज साइकोफिजिकल की नेसेसिटी बन जाती है। लेकिन कोई बोलेगा फिर प्रभु देन व्हाट अबाउट सन्यासीस, इफ इट इज अ नेसेसिटी? नो, फॉर सम पीपल इट मे नॉट बी नेसेसिटी। सम पीपल although they may have propensities, ऐसा नहीं कह रहा कि सन्यासी को प्रोपेंसिटी नहीं है, propensity है, जैसे कि even like it is said somebody is married to one woman, still a person may have propensity to get connection with other woman, so it is called as propensity. Propensity is there, but he may not क्या कहते get connection with other woman because he will okay भाई मन कुछ भी बोले I can control, but necessity का मतलब becomes so handicapped that he cannot function in the life only. If he feels that this is not done, I cannot function only in my life. That is necessity. But there are sometimes called as propensities, and propensities are there for everyone. Whether a sannyasi, grahastha, one plus brahmachari, everyone will have propensity to do something sinful. And such propensities, if somebody can curb, we have to curb it because they are the stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. They are this will choke the progress of one. So propensity and necessity. Necessity means in general majority population they require this because they are not Krishna conscious. Majority people, majority 99% people are the not Krishna conscious devotees. So for them it becomes like a necessity. But for those who are Krishna conscious, they get an added advantage because now they can work upon because they can derive Krishna's energy, and they are getting higher. Ultimately it is a necessity because people want enjoyment, and without enjoyment a person cannot be happy. But if one learns to get enjoyment through Krishna conscious activity, he develops rasa varjam rasopi yasya param drishtva nivartate. If somebody learns to get higher happiness, then this necessity goes away, right? So it is this so this shloka is also sometimes misunderstood. So the main problem is not attachments. The main problem is our detachment from Krishna. Okay. So we'll stop here. We'll pause here. Any questions are there, then devotees can ask question. If not, then rather than revising the points tomorrow, we have 7 minutes. We can just recollect today's points today only. In case if so, some of you those who don't have question, they can recollect the points. You can write in chat box, and in case somebody has question, we can ask.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Yes, bro.
So, like you used in this verse, in this purport, there is said that be attached to Krishna and not focus on much about the detachment to sense that. But if we say the conditioned soul is like he has so much natural tendency to attach for the sense gratification. But why not he has the like fully natural tendency to attach to Krishna also? Because attachment to Krishna is like little tough project, but attachment to sense gratification it becomes very easy. So there is no much hard efforts required for attachment to sense gratification.
Yeah, this was one question which I asked earlier. That material impressions are very natural. Like suppose I see suppose I go to YouTube and I watch some dirty clip. They have a long-lasting impressions on my mind. And if I go and for a Krishna conscious program, but okay, they don't make so much. They don't seem to make so much impression on my mind. And the desire to do sense gratification appears. We spend so much time. But for bhakti, even little, that's what it is said, no? Condition stage. It is like a magnet. Magnet naturally has a potential to get attracted to iron, or it has natural inclination to get attracted to another magnet or repel from another magnet. But problem is when it is covered by dust, it's covered by layer of the dust. Then in such a layer of dust condition, then the magnet that attraction wala principle becomes little less. So that principle it doesn't get attracted to Krishna consciousness. So and it attracts more and more dust only. It attract more and more dust gets accumulated because anyway so much dust is there. So similarly, that's why that Chetu Darpana Marjanam when we chant every day, that oh, want to clean the mirror of my mind, want to clean the mirror of my mind again. And that's why chanting has the biggest role in the life of sadhaka. There is no other sadhana which is like a chanting. Chanting is the most essential sadhana. And it is not that we don't feel attraction. Sometimes certain times we have glimpses of attraction. वो ग्लिम्स नहीं होता तो आज तक हम भक्ति नहीं किए होते। कभी कभी छोटा छोटा हायर टेस्ट आया है ब्रो, छोटा छोटा सा, एक छोटा सा एकदम सैंपल हायर टेस्ट आया है हम सब लोगों को, उसकी वजह से आज तक हम भक्ति कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं। अगर वो नहीं आता हमारे जीवन में, ओके, कितने लोगों को लगता है, कितने डिवोटीज को लगता है आपको कभी छोटा सा कभी छोटा सा हायर टेस्ट आ गया, कभी कभी किसी चीज में कुछ तो हायर टेस्ट आ गया, हाथ ऊपर कीजिए। ओके, 3 डिवोटीज के पास आया है, 4 के पास आ गया, क्या बात है, हायर टेस्ट आ गया है। 5 6 छोटा छोटा हायर टेस्ट, कुछ तो एक्टिविटी में आ ही गया होगा। कभी कभी ऐसा ग्लिम्स मिला, वाह क्या लग रहा है, राइट ना। सो छोटा सा हायर टेस्ट। तो ये हायर टेस्ट जो है बार बार नहीं आता है, क्योंकि हम क्योंकि हम हमारा हायर टेस्ट चला जाता है, बार बार नहीं आ पाता है। तो डांसिंग कीर्तन में आता है, प्रसाद में आता है, यात्रा में जाने में आता है। तो थोड़ा रिपीटेट करना है। और जैसे आप प्योर डिवोटिस को देखोगे, उनके लिए नेचुरल बन जाता है ये हायर टेस्ट। उनको बाकी सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन में आनंद नहीं आता है। तो ये अनहेल्दी कंडीशन से हमें हेल्दी कंडीशन में जाना है। अभी मैं रिसेंटली आई गॉट वन डिसीज व्हेन आई हैड गॉन टू यात्रा। सो आई हैड अ little something related to food poisoning was there. So I had to take one antibiotic. So I just took one antibiotic, one medicine. And you know what happened? मैं डॉक्टर को पास गया, मैं बोला डॉक्टर मुझे सब पानी कड़वा लग रहा है, मुझे पानी कड़वा लग रहा है, स्वीट अच्छा लग रहा है, सब कुछ अच्छा लग रहा है, लेकिन पानी कड़वा लग रहा है। मैं बिस्लरी का पानी पिया, मंदिर का पानी पिया, कहीं का भी पानी पिया, सब पानी कड़वा लग रहा है। मैं डर गया, वो पानी क्यों कड़वा लग रहा है। फिर डॉक्टर बोला नहीं नहीं अभी अब तुम डिसीज हो ना, इसलिए। मैं बोला अरे पर जो सब कुछ जूस जूस पिया, फ्रूट जूस पिया, ग्लूकोज पानी पिया, सब कड़वा लग रहा है। तो बोला नहीं तुम डिसीज दो, हो जाएगा। तो बोले मेडिसिन लेते, मैं बोला मेडिसिन छोड़ दूँ क्या फिर, ये इससे डिसीज हो रहा है। तो बोला नहीं एंटीबायोटिक का साइड इफेक्ट है ये, तुम्हारा वो मेडिसिन कंप्लीट करो, बाद में हो जाएगा। तो मैं बाद में धीमे 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 देखा, फिर से ऑटोमेटिकली हो गया, 1 2 3 4 दिन 5 दिन। लेकिन सब पानी कड़वा लग रहा था, सब एंटायर वाटर वॉज फीलिंग कड़वा, लेकिन ऑटोमेटिक। सो सिमिलरली अभी हमारा वो सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन का साइड इफेक्ट चल रहा है सारा। सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन के साइड इफेक्ट की वजह से भक्ति में इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है। लेकिन रुक जाओ, भक्ति करते रहो, मेडिसिन लेते रहो, और थोड़ा वेट करो, धीमे धीमे कड़वापन निकल जाएगा, एंड बाद में स्वीटनेस एक्सपीरियंस चालू हो जाएगा। चाय। ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच प्रभुस। विल पॉज हियर। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री और भक्तवृंद की जय, कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा नाम गौड़े वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय।
Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, bro. Hare Krishna.